Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to this week's episode of Dear Nero, the weekly Q&A that goes up every single Wednesday, where subscribers send in questions, and I answer them. It's a pretty simple process. This week's gameplay, I'm basically just going to be doing, like, full matches, I think, for the gameplay this week. Just random, mostly playing Blitz, maybe some DOS House, I'm not entirely sure, but just full gameplays, I think, for this week's episode. And typically we start the episodes off with a bit of a health update, a bit of a personal update, and things have been going good, man. Things have been going really good as of late. I'll put the stats up here on the screen right now. Today's day 50 for me personally, which is actually pretty awesome. Almost 2 months in, and it's at the point now where I don't even miss drinking or anything really anymore. I mean, I guess to an extent I do. I miss when it was fun, but at the same time, like, it stopped being fun a long time ago. So, you know, I think people are always nostalgic for that kind of thing. But yeah, day 50. This is day 44 of doing the 10,000 steps every single day, which has been getting. Honestly, it's been getting harder to do the steps every single day, and it's not because it's difficult. It's not because I get winded. It's not because I get sore. It's because I get bored. It's at the point now where it's like, I gotta get my steps in today. Like, I'm grinding Vanguard so hard, whether it's making videos or streaming or even just like playing the game and stuff like that. And so trying to fit in, you know, 10,000 steps, which takes about an hour and a half, give or take, depending on the day, depending on how motivated I am, to just aimlessly walk around my town is that's sometimes difficult, I would say, because I get bored of it almost, and it's like just something you have to do though. And it's one of those things where, like, once I'm halfway done, like once I get to like 5,000 steps, typically that feels you know, the end is in sight almost, right? And so that feels pretty good. And once you get halfway there, you start feeling a little bit better. You get the endorphins kind of kicking and stuff like that, you know. So overall, not too much of an update this week, honestly. I've been grinding Vanguard. I've been making videos like crazy, streaming like crazy, playing the game a ton, still doing my steps, still taking my meds, still staying sober. And yeah, so it's been a pretty good week, honestly. Vanguard's been a lot of fun. It's been fun having all the boys being excited about COD again, playing with my friends every single night. It's been fun streaming when the game's not crashing. It's fun to see my YouTube channel finally growing again for the first time in like years. My channel's been dead for a long time, so to see it actually growing is nice. And yeah, so it's been a really, really good week, really positive week all around. And so thank you guys all so much for all the continued support. It means more than you possibly can imagine. And here's the hope, and we just continue on, you know. And it's not even hope. I'm just gonna keep doing it. You know, you just gotta keep doing it. Time to be a man and just keep on going. You know, keep working out, keep staying sober, keep just being an adult essentially, and just not falling back into old habits and stuff. So things have been going very well. For those of you who've been looking for a personal update, but we have a number of great questions for this week's episode, so let's just jump right into it with the first one that's going to be coming in from Joshua, who writes, Dear Nero, are you rushing to level up all your weapons and get camos, or are you taking your time so you don't run out of things to do once the camo grind is complete? That is actually a very good point, because once I got Dark Matter back in Black Ops Cold War, then suddenly I was just like, there's nothing more to do in this game. I am now bored. Right now, it looks like there isn't a whole lot to do in Vanguard after you do the camo grind. I mean, there's multiplayer and zombies, I suppose, so there's a lot there. But the camo grind is insane in this game, man. The biggest thing is the fact that you have to wait until you are weapon level like 70 before you actually have all the challenges even unlocked. And then some of the times, like, you get to weapon level 70, and one of the challenges is like, get 100 headshots with these 3 very specific attachments. It's like, dude, you're gonna make me do another 100 headshots after I get to weapon level 70? Like, really? These challenges are kind of nuts. Plus, it takes forever and a half to level up your weapons. I don't play on PlayStation, so I don't get that bonus, you know. So I've maxed out a total of 1 weapon so far in my like 19 hours of playtime, which is going to be the combat shotgun, which I've been playing on DOS House with. I'm getting close to maxing out the double barrel. Then I'll probably jump to another shotgun as long as that playlist is actually available, just because it's so easy to use shotguns on that map. The rocket launcher challenges are pretty simple, but they take a long time. One of the challenges is like shoot down 3 pieces of air support in 30 different games. Well, not only do you have to play 30 games, which is kind of a lot, but you also have to shoot down 3 pieces of air support. And there's, you know, plenty of matches where the other team just aren't running UAVs and stuff like that. So you're just like, well, I guess that game just doesn't count. So in reality, instead of 30 games, it feels a lot more like 60 that you have to do, and that's just for 1 rocket launcher. So I think I am trying to rush and level up my weapons, but it's taking forever. So I don't think I'm going to get, you know, I'm not going to run out of things to do anytime soon, I wouldn't imagine. But thank you very much for the question. The next question is coming in from Roberto, who writes, Dear Nero. This is an interesting one, I think. He writes, do you miss supply drops? I do to this day. I loved Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4, and I play a gacha game, Genshin Impact, because I know the percentage of earning stuff, but combining Black Ops 4's trade supply crates with loot boxes, with free-to-play and monthly updates like Call of Duty Online, that's a W. I hate $20 camos. So a bit of a run-on sentence there, a bit hard to understand, but I think I get what you're what you're getting at here, essentially, which is you kind of miss supply drops because there was a way to actually earn content in the game. And to that extent, yeah, this is going to sound nuts to a lot of you, but I do kind of miss supply drops a little bit. And that's a clip right there. Just for the just for the sole fact that I miss being able to get things from the shop. And my friend Nate brings this up too, is like, the very fact that with supply drops, you can still get stuff that's in the shop for free makes supply drops kind of inherently a decent thing. Now, obviously, supply drops themselves, the way Call of Duty implemented them, where it was a terrible system, it was really bad. But at the same time, I mean, in Black Ops Cold War, for example, the amount of stuff you could earn in the game was minimal, and the amount of amazing, cool shit in the shop was extreme. And at least with a supply drop system, you had a chance to get some of that cool stuff from the shop, whereas without supply drops, you do not get anything for just simply playing the game, which is a real downside. So I think the nice, healthy medium here, the thing that we should actually shoot for, is ways to actually buy things in the shop with a currency that you can get for playing the game, whether it's the old school COD point system or an armory credit system or a depot credit system or something. That would be fantastic, but I do kind of miss that, being able to either save up my supply drops and buy a Blackout character skin outright, or being able to just randomly get something from a supply drop. That was nice in a world where the shop has all the cool shit and the stuff that's actually in the game is usually pretty lame. The next question is going to be coming in from Phantom, who writes, Dear Nero, if you had to pick between the 3 studios to make a Call of Duty forever, which studio would it be? So I had to think long and hard on this one, and even though they recently let us down with their lack of content and lack of updates, I would say Treyarch. And the reason why is because typically if I look at the entire catalog of Call of Duties over the years, going from World at War to Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, and then even Cold War, and also Blackout, if you want to count that as like its own game. Typically, I like Treyarch games. I really do. I think Treyarch makes a quality product. I like old Infinity Ward, COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, to an extent, Modern Warfare 3. I like those games a lot, but new Infinity Ward, which has been, Call of Duty Ghosts and Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare 2019, it's like, not so much. Not so much Infinity Ward. I like old Infinity Ward, not so much new Infinity Ward. And Sledgehammer so far, I thought Advanced Warfare, for being an advanced movement game, actually had really good gunplay and really good kill streaks. I think the maps are pretty fun as well. I just didn't like the movement. And then Call of Duty World War II, I would say is a top 5 COD of all time for me personally. I was a big fan of that game. So I would go Treyarch number 1, Sledgehammer number 2, Infinity Ward number 3. The next question is going to be coming in from Doyle, who writes, Dear Nero, I guarantee you, this poor guy, his whole life, they say, oh, Doyle rules to him all the time. But he writes, how and when did your outro start for your YouTube videos? You know, when you say I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, with the pause and everything. So Doyle, I don't know, honestly. It's been so long that I've been doing it. I don't even remember what inspired it, but that's just been my outro forever. I've changed my intro up a couple of times, but in general, my intro has been pretty consistent. My outro's always been that little, hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Like, just there's a pause there. I don't know why there's a pause. It's just something I've always done. The next question is coming in from Scottsbra, who writes, Dear Nero, whether it was Call of Duty or a looter shooter, was there ever a specific gun/piece of gear that you grinded for but never got? Mine's the AK-12 RIP from Advanced Warfare. So Scott's, I actually had that variant. That was like what was so crazy about the supply drops back in that game. I had like a lot of variants, and I didn't care, you know, like I had like the Obsidian Steed, I had the Speakeasy and stuff like that, whereas there's other people that just grinded the game all year and never got the variant that they wanted. And that's annoying in a game like COD. Like, what, you know, variants that change weapon stats just do not belong in COD. But the one piece of gear, the one piece of loot that always eluded me is not necessarily a Call of Duty piece of gear, I suppose. I mean, there's plenty of them. Like Black Ops 3, I don't own even like a third of the DLC weapons in Black Ops 3. I have all of them in Black Ops 4, because in Black Ops 4, you could save up your supply drops, then trade them for individual DLC weapons. But I would actually say Borderlands 2. In Borderlands 2, the Northfleet, the rocket launcher that dropped off, I want to say Vermivorous. Vermivorous was very hard to spawn, and we farmed him, and we killed him a couple of times, but we just never could get the Northfleets to drop. And it was like the best rocket launcher in the game, if I recall correctly. So yeah, the Norfleets always eluded me in Borderlands 2. And then there's plenty of pieces of gear in like World of Warcraft and stuff like that. But the thing that comes to mind for sure would be Norfleets in Borderlands 2. The next question is going to be coming in from Huncho, who writes, Dear Nero, do you ever listen to music while playing video games? If so, are you picky with your song choices, or you just accept whatever song is playing? I guess it depends. I really like oldies, and this is going to, I mean, you look at my channel art, you look at my intro, you look at my outro. I'm a big fan of oldies. I'm a big fan of the Fallout franchise. So when I stream, I typically stream jazz, just it's instrumental jazz, whether it's, you know, just piano and saxophone, that kind of thing. Just nice background music, essentially, without any vocals in it. And when I'm not streaming, I'm just like playing games and just listening to whatever I want. There's a number of Fallout music live streams that I listen to. One is called Old World Radio, and unfortunately, they are kind of gone right now, if that makes any sense. So Old World Radio, they're having copyright issues with their live streams on YouTube. They live stream 24/7. They've been streaming for years. And what sucks is they actually had a couple of playlists that were custom made, like professionally voice acted and everything. Like, you know, in Fallout, you have the radio DJ and then the music and all that. Well, there's like Radio FNGS, there is a Storyteller, there is Cadillac Shack's Radio Shack, like all these different custom made Fallout radio stations that are really well done, that are also spliced in there with like the Fallout 4 radio station in New Vegas and stuff like that. And unfortunately, some of the songs they had on there, I guess, are just copyrighted because they can't stream those particular radio stations anymore. They can do Fallout, 3, New Vegas, Fallout 4, and 76 because that's not copyrighted. But some of the custom stuff they did is copyrighted, and that's a shame because they used to stream that all the time. I listen to it like every day, all day. When I'm going on my walks and stuff like that, I have an oldies playlist that I listen to on Spotify and yeah, mostly oldie stuff right now. But when it comes to more modern stuff, Lucero, Tyler Childers, Whiskey Myers, Turnpike Troubadours, things like that. The next question is going to be coming in from Chai, I think is how you pronounce it, who writes, Dear Nero, will you name your son Nero? So I should start by saying that no, we're not expecting any children right now. If a child happens, the child will happen. But if I have a son ever in the future, will I name myself or name my son Nero? No. No, I would not. It's actually kind of crazy though. The name I've always thought would be cool for a boy because it's unique, it's interesting, I like it. Kane. Kane, like the wrestler Kane. I thought Kane would be such a cool name for a boy, or even if it's a girl. Like, for some reason, I've always had the idea of the name Rebecca Kane, like Kane being the middle name for a girl. I don't know. I always thought that was like a cool idea for a name. But yeah, I always thought Kane would be, if I have a son, I think Kane would be an interesting name. But I somehow don't think Courtney would be okay with that. The next question is going to be coming in from SBSFI, just a bunch of letters, I guess, who writes, Dear Nero, if you could pick one COD game from the Xbox One/PS4 era to have for more years of main support, which game would it be? Hands down, Black Ops 4. Hands down, 100%. Black Ops 4 multiplayer is amazing. Blackout is infinitely better than Warzone, in my opinion. So Blackout would be getting updated again. That would be sick. And I thought Zombies was good enough in that game. So yeah, definitely Black Ops 4 would be the game that I would love to see come back as a main game that gets the main support for years and years and years. Because the core foundation was awesome. I love the gunplay. I love the multiplayer. I love Dark Matter. I love the number skins in Blackout. I love Blackout itself. I love, even going back to it a little bit, I love doing all the challenges in Blackout, Zombies, and multiplayer every day to get all my supply drops and use those supply drops to buy things from the shop. It was such a fun game. Absolutely love Black Ops 4. And people that disagree, I feel bad for you, man. You guys missed out on an awesome year of COD. The next question is going to be coming in from Tasuki, who writes, Dear Nero, I know you're a huge Browns fan, but do you follow any other sports teams like baseball, hockey, basketball, or etc.? If so, what teams and how did you become a fan of them? So I really don't pay attention to sports outside of football. I used to back in the day, and I can give you my teams, but nowadays I wouldn't consider myself really a fan of any other sport. So back in the day, baseball fan, right? I was a Toronto Blue Jays fan when I actually paid attention to baseball. That's back when they had Vernon Wells and Marco Scutaro, and Roy Halladay was still alive. That was unfortunate when he passed. Tragic, actually, but AJ Burnett, there's a whole bunch. I'm not going to name every player on the Blue Jays back in the day, but I picked them because I didn't know anything about baseball, and I picked it solely based on the logo because Blue Jays are pretty birds. So I went with Blue Jays. When it came to hockey, back in the day, I was a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know it's weird. I'm picking Toronto teams, right? I live in Pennsylvania, but I'm picking Toronto teams. But I picked the Maple Leafs because they were like the one team outside the Penguins I could name. And I knew they were also an old school hockey team. Basketball, it was the Celtics, the Boston Celtics. Are there any other sports? I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of other sports. But yeah, Boston Celtics, back when I first started getting into basketball, that's when the Celtics had the big three which was, what was it, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, oh my goodness, Ray Allen. I was blanking on the third one. They had Rajon Rondo back then as well. Something Perkins, I want to say. I can't remember. But either way, I basically I would try to get into a sport, and I picked my favorite team, and I would pay attention. I'd pay attention for like a year, and then I just kind of got out of it. I mean, I don't know. Baseball just has too many games in a season. I guess that's the big thing. Baseball, hockey, and basketball, they all have way too many games in a season. And I'm used to football where every single game actually really matters, whereas in baseball, you can just lose 10 straight games and it's not a big deal. Hockey is kind of the same way. Basketball is kind of the same way. You know, nothing matters until like the last quarter of the season, essentially, really. So, and as a result, like if I'm just like watching a sport and it doesn't matter if you win or lose, and it's very clear when you're watching the people play that they don't give a shit if they win or lose, really. I can't get into those kinds of sports, man. I don't know. Football is American football anyway, is just the ultimate sport for me. The next question is coming in from Jet from Tennessee, who writes, Dear Nero, great to have you back. How do you feel about every gun being a laser once you get attachments in Call of Duty Vanguard? Keep up the good work. It's not good. It's not good. I would love the time to kill in this game to be a bit more like Black Ops 4. I mean, you can melt people in this game, and the attachments only make these guns even better. So, yeah, I think they're going to have to do a number of weapon balance passes going throughout the entirety of this game's life cycle. Right now, obviously the STG and the MP40, it's kind of funny how broken the shotguns are as well, especially on a map like Das House. And it's also so funny how mad all the STG and MP40 sweats get when you shotgun them, so I enjoy doing that. But yeah, weapon balance is not exactly great so far here in this game, but I think they're going to hopefully be able to work it out with a number of updates and weapon balance passes and things like that. The next question is going to be coming in from Signal, who writes, Dear Nero, what is your opinion on the new camo systems, Modern Warfare 2019 through Vanguard, compared to the camo systems from Black Ops 4 and before? I would say the new system is actually kind of dumb, and I'm not saying that just to be like a complainer or a negative person. I think it's dumb because inherently things that we see in Vanguard especially just don't make any sense. I mean, for example, making it so we have to wait until weapon, I talked about this earlier, but waiting until we have to get like weapon level 70 to then have a new challenge to get 100 headshots with specific attachments on. That is just silly, dude. We already grinded 70 weapon levels. That took like 1,000 kills just to get up to maximum level with the gun. Now we have to do 100 more headshots? Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I think with how long it takes the weapon levels to get through, that they could actually dumb down a lot of these challenges and it would balance the game out a lot more. The old days were a lot easier. I mean, I think just headshots was kind of a boring way to go about it. I mean, if you're only going for headshots, I mean, I'd be halfway to Atomic by now, probably. Headshots are not hard to do. But the old days of, we kind of have this now, but get 30 or 20 or 35 kill streaks, that's fine. Going for your long shots and stuff, that's fine. Some of them are dumb. Point blanks are just dumb. But in general, the older challenges when they were more simple was better. But now we have so many weapon levels that the actual challenge for the gun is just grinding like 1,000 kills on the thing, just eventually get up to weapon level 70 and then do these challenges. And the new challenges I don't even like use these very specific attachments. And it's like, I don't want to use those very specific attachments. How about we just use, have a challenge for no attachments like we used to have a challenge for all the attachments like we used to have, as compared to making me run this weird, goofy setup. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the challenges here in Vanguard, but obviously I'm still going to do them. The next question is going to be coming in from Jorn, who writes, Dear Nero, if you could design a dark matter, what would it look like? Keep up the good work. So I obviously have no Photoshop skills. I make my thumbnails in Sony Vegas, for crying out loud. But if I could make a dark matter, pick how dark matter looked, it'd be very simple, actually. It would be the Black Ops 3 dark matter, which you guys can remember what that looks like. But I would give players the option to pick what color they wanted. I mean, it's that simple. Remember back in Black Ops 3, they had that zombies camo or whatever, where there was like a yellow camo and a red camo and a blue camo and whatever. It'd be that, but it'd be for dark matter once you unlocked it. So you could have a red dark matter, a blue dark matter, a purple if you want to keep that, green, yellow, whatever color you want, essentially. And then you can mix and match them on your guns. Like your primary, maybe you want red dark matter, but on your secondary, you want blue dark matter. That'd be so cool. Why don't we have the option to do that? It wouldn't be that hard for the developers whatsoever. They'd have to add an extra option to pick what color you wanted, essentially, which I think they already had that functionality back in Black Ops 3. And other than that, it would just literally be a matter of changing the hue of the camo that's already made. It'd be so simple. So Black Ops 3 dark matter, but with the option to pick your color. The next question is going to be coming in from Rigo, who writes, Dear Nero, what has got to be your least favorite Borderlands game? I would say the pre-sequel. Borderlands 1 has its charm of being the original game. Borderlands 2 is goated. Borderlands 3 is good for what it is, I suppose. It's not my favorite because there's so many legendaries. But the pre-sequel, I mean, I like the Telltale games more, not Telltale, the Telltale games more than I liked Borderlands, the pre-sequel. The pre-sequel was bland, man. We're on the moon. The town, I forget the name of the town, Concordia, was it? The town was cool. I kind of liked their little home base or whatever. But other than that, man, the game was very gray. It was kind of blah. I did not care at all about the story. It was like the only Borderlands game where I beat it on like the normal difficulty or whatever, and I just never played again because I was just so like not interested in that game. And I think they had like one DLC for it ever. I think it was made by 2K Australia, which is not even a company anymore, which is unfortunate. Hopefully those guys all found new jobs elsewhere. It was the game that I think Borderlands fans tend to forget and kind of want to forget. The next question is coming in from Miami Mark, who writes, Dear Nero, I know realism isn't a huge focus for you, but is there a point where immersion-breaking content would be an issue for you? Personally, for me, I like a more grounded game, and things like no faction and soldiers having a drum mag with reactive camo on their M1 Grand bothers me a bit. So I can definitely see what you're saying there, Miami Mark. Again, you're playing a World War II game, but there's definitely a lot of immersion-breaking factors in the game. And honestly, though, I'm desensitized to it. I've been playing COD for so long. I will say back in the day, this is going to sound so dorky, so just bear with me. I fucking loved World at War. I loved playing Call of Duty World at War because there were times when I would play that game, it would feel like you're in World War II almost, if that makes sense. Like, I remember I was so into it, and like 16-year-old me, I would play like war, and if I was on the Russian side, I had classes for every faction. If I was on the Russian side, I had my SVT-40 with my Tokarev secondary. You know, if we're playing on the American side, I got my Tommy gun with my 1911. If we're on the Japanese side, I had my Arasaka, you know, and my Nambu pistol, or whatever it was called. And then I would, there were times where the game actually felt pretty immersive, I would say, way back in the day. But after playing COD for so long, I'm desensitized to it. I don't get... There are times where I do get immersed, I would say, but in general, I really don't get immersed in COD anymore, especially with the player base nowadays. Like, it's hard to pretend that this is like a real-world kind of World War II kind of a game when everyone's sliding and jump-shotting you around corners with STGs and MP40s. You know, it doesn't click, you know, it just doesn't. So I do get immersed in COD every now and then, especially while playing a game like Vanguard. I'll like look at the scenery around me, I'll look at the weapon in my hand and go, damn, all right, I like the art style in this game. This really does look good for a World War II game, but at the end of the day, it's Call of Duty multiplayer, you know, it's not an RPG game, it's COD multiplayer, and it's really hard to get immersed in that. And also, when it comes to the idea of, like, reactive camos and stuff like that, Call of Duty always has that identity crisis. I've talked about it in videos here on the channel, but typically, Call of Duty will have the identity crisis where they say, okay, we want this game to be down-to-earth and gritty and realistic, and therefore, everything is boring, like the Chrome camo back in Call of Duty World War II. And then, lo and behold, like, later on with DLC, a bunch of, like, amazing camos came out for supply drops, right? So, they have really boring content at launch because people want the game to be grounded and immersive, when inevitably they're going to add really cool cosmetic stuff to the shop later on anyway. So with that being the case, just hope that that cool cosmetic stuff can just be in the game by default. And we kind of have that so far here with Call of Duty Vanguard with the Atomic Camo. I think Atomic Camo looks really good. I think a lot of the camos, believe it or not, in this game look pretty good. I think Chlorine's already kind of a fan favorite. There's one called like Winter's Blood or something like that. I like that one as well. So I'm desensitized to it. I can see why people don't like it, but overall, it's COD multiplayer, and the color of someone's gun is not going to bother me too much as like them constantly jump shotting and sliding around corners, you know? So I guess it is what it is. The next question is going to be coming in from Maddie, who writes, Dear Nero, how long does it take to get COD gameplay for your videos? Pretty simple question, but not long, really. The kind of gameplay I post, I'm not posting nukes or anything like that. I'm not going on 70 kill streaks. I go on some decent streaks. I try to play the objective. I try to win, and I try to have fun and level up my guns and stuff. So, not long, really. I mostly just stream, and I record while I stream, and then the gameplay that I have, like in this video, for example, is stuff that I streamed already. But I recorded it while I was streaming, so I can use it for my videos as well. So I basically just play the game, chat with my friends, chat in the stream, and just play the game. And then every now and then I pop off. And when I do pop off, off. I saved that footage and I use it for my videos, so not really too long. The next question is coming in from Henry, who writes, Dear Nero, do you play any instruments? No. I used to back in the day play a mean hot cross buns on the recorder, back when we had to do the recorder in like elementary school or something. But other than that, I tried the percussion for a bit. Didn't really overly care for it. I tried guitar, but guitar is one of the things you have to really stick with. I just didn't stick with it. I got kind of decent with it, but I just never really stuck with it because at the end of the day, it's just something I wasn't all that interested in. But if I could pick any instrument, like, you know, if I could afford just to like, you know, get like an instrument right now along with lessons, it would either be piano. I think a lot of people want to do piano, or saxophone, believe it or not, because I listen to so much jazz. I think it'd be fun to play the saxophone, but it's one of those things where it's always like, it's more fun in your head than it actually is, because you realize like, oh, I can barely do anything. I'm not just immediately going to sound like Fats Waller when I start playing the piano. Instead, I'm going to be like horrible, unable to do like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So it's one of those things, man. Maybe someday I'll actually get proper and try to learn it, but those are the two instruments I wish I could learn if I could actually put the time and like try to learn something. The next and final question is going to be coming in from Cloaker, who writes, Dear Nero, what Call of Duty game has the best zombies in your opinion? Hands down, Black Ops 3. Hands down, and that's coming from someone who didn't even really play like the original, like, new maps in Black Ops 3 all that much. So I guess it's kind of cheating, but Black Ops 3 had Zombies Chronicles, which was awesome. Black Ops 3 had customization, which was awesome. There was no, like, Dark Aether camo or whatever, but you did have customization, which was fantastic. That was a huge thing for me. When Zombies made it so you could start leveling up your guns and getting attachments for them and putting camos on your guns, that was huge, because back in the day, honestly, it was kind of boring, because you didn't have any progression. The only thing to do in Zombies was just get to a high round just to do it, you know? And so when they had customization, that was really cool. Black Ops 3, I think, had some really great original maps. I think having Zombies Chronicles there was awesome. And then also, Black Ops 3 on the PC had mod support, which is just infinite replay value with all these custom maps that so many people have put together. In fact, I should start playing those again and putting them on my second channel. But there's just too much to do right now with Vanguard for me to want to go back to Black Ops 3 custom zombies. But I'd say Black Ops 3, even though I am nostalgic for the old World at War days, I thought Black Ops 1 was fun. I thought Black Ops 2 was fun. I liked Transit, for crying out loud, even though a lot of people don't like it. But yeah, I think most Treyarch zombie games are good, but Black Ops 3 would probably be the best one in my own personal opinion. And I think a lot of other people tend to agree with that notion as well. But ladies and gentlemen, there you guys have it. There is this week's episode of Dear Nero. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying all the videos going up here on the channel, being super consistent, super grindy over the course of the past week or so. One of these days, I should just take a day off and just nap, because I am exhausted every day. But it feels good to be productive. It feels good to have a new COD to grind. It feels good to be, back on the YouTube grind here, I guess. It's been fun. It's been a very positive experience so far. Thank you guys all so much for all the continued support here on the videos. Thank you for every single one of you that clicks on the video. Thank you to everyone that clicks like, everyone that comments their thoughts and feedback on the video. Thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. I cannot wait for my next video. I cannot wait for, the coming weeks, the coming months, everything, man. I'm turning 30 here in exactly 1 week's time. Actually, it's exactly 1 week, November 17th, and it's going to be kind of crazy just going into my 30th birthday, becoming officially an old man, and still being here on YouTube over 10 years later and still grinding away and having fun. And I'm blessed. It's been quite the experience. Thank you guys all so much once again. I hope you all enjoyed today's videos. If you did, consider leaving a like. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.